CLI and a cross-platform IDE for C and C++. Download now.
Okay, there was CMake, there was modern CMake, and now we have entered the postmodern CMake area, a bit like we're now in the postmodern C++ area. I'm going to talk about two features that I learned about last year in 2025. I don't know by heart when they popped up in CMake, either last year, the year before, or maybe already for 2 years. Who knows? Verify headers and make codegen. So let's start about verify headers. What is it about? When we export headers, or even with private headers, we want them to be correct. And I talk about the fact, if you would have a CPP file which would only include that one header, it should compile fine. Very often that's not the case. However, our system builds. That's because we are lucky. On the user side of that header, the compilation is succeeding because that CPP file is, for example, already including a header which was missing from the header we include, or it already included some other header which on its turn included yet another header, and that one included the missing one. So transitivity can save us, but we want things to be correct. And it works until the day it breaks. This can happen because we modify the using code and we kick out that header that saved our asses because we don't need it anymore, or we have a compiler upgrade. Sometimes with the step up of the compiler, the STL headers foo is no longer including the STL header bar, and that was the one that we should have explicitly included, but we didn't. Or we changed from GCC to Clang, or the other way around, and the code no longer compiles. So let's look at an artificial bad example. We're going to have a stupid little library, which one header file that is exported and an implementation CPP file. The CMake list file of this little library has a few special things. As you can see, I don't know if you can see my mouse, normally you should. We are no longer using target include directories. That's modern CMake. We are using file sets, header file sets. That's the postmodern CMake. The base dirs is actually what we would have specified in the target include directories. And we also are enumerating our exported headers. We know this is not necessary. Sometimes people do it because then IDEs can show those header files, otherwise they don't. But if we define a file set, a header file set, and enumerate the headers, this will then also be used in this new feature to verify our headers. Actually, verify our public header file sets. Okay. Let's look at that bad header file. We are using std string and std optional, and oops, we forgot to include them. But luckily, the library itself compiles because the CPP file included both headers. I'm mentioning here this is a bad order because it's better to include your own headers and only afterwards the STL headers, because then our CPP file would not have compiled. A problem of order which goes away with modules, obviously. So due to this, let's say, bad order of includes, the library compiles, and also our user, our main application is also compiling because for some reason it also included string and optional. Nevertheless, our entire system is building okay. Our header file is not correct. So the lucky good news is it builds, it runs, tests are passed, we are happy. Are we? Oh, here we see everything at work. Everything builds fine. We are just lucky. Now, there is a new feature, CMake Verify Interface Header Sets. It is a target property that can be applied on individual targets, or you can also set a CMake underscore XX version of that variable, and then by default, it applies to all target. As a result of that, each library, which was a target in CMake by itself, gets an extra verify target, and there is also a verify all target. So let's look at the tab completion. If I do make, we can see we have here all verify interface header sets. We have our fetch ID library verify interface header sets. And if we now say make all verify interface header sets, the build breaks. So this is something we can incorporate in our CI, saying after a regular build, also do a make all verify interface header sets, and the build will break if we have headers which don't include what they should do. So it no longer builds, and now we are happy because the build breaks on bad code, and that's how we like it. Okay, the second feature, make codegen. Why? Why do we need that? Now, sometimes some sources are being generated during build time. For example, you have a protobuf file, it generates a .h and a .cpp file, and that's then later on used in some library or somewhere. So if we don't build, those sources will be missing. And then you would like to run your static checkers, and they will fail. They will say, this foo.cpp, I don't find it. And foo.h, I also can't find it, so I'm bailing out. So until make codegen, what could we do? We should build first. Now, if we want to do static checking and we first want to build, that's an extra step we would like to avoid, certainly on bigger code bases. Now, if we could just tell the system, hey, could you just generate all those files that should be generated? That's the codegen target in CMake. So, as an example, we're going to use a very stupid generator. What we're going to do, we are going to start from a text file which contains a numeric value, and we're going to use a generator that creates a library out of that. A library with one header file, one implementation CPP file, and it's going to turn that numeric value from the text file into a constant value in a namespace. On the right-hand side, we see this little generator. It's just a shell script which is generating a .h file and a .cpp file. And on the left-hand side, we see we have two such text files, foo and bar.txt, and each contains a number. Code generation in CMake, it's typically a certain pattern with a custom command, a custom target. I'm just showing over here a few snippets. We see on line 54, we add our library, which is going to depend on some file.cbp, or it's going to contain that. We have, again, a file sit header with the header file that will be generated. The add library depends on the custom target. The custom target is using the custom command. But line 31 is the important one. We add a new keyword in the add custom command, codegen. Now CMake knows that this thing is generating sources that we would like to pop up at the moment we say, hey, could you build everything that should be code generated? So let's generate our build system. As before, we have a makefile system, and in the build directory, we can see that valuelibs is just containing the makefiles generated by CMake. We don't see any generated code yet. And then we say, okay, CMake, I want you to build something for me, and not the regular thing, all or my library foo. No, I want you to build the target codegen. This little example project is generating two kind of things, but we should focus on, I'm generating the const library for foo and that intermediate target for generating the const library for foo. So we see that for both our foo.txt and bar.txt, make codegen generated those files. And if we now look at the binary tree, we see that we have a foo.lib const, a bar.lib const, and we see we have our header file in the directory we wanted, and we have our CPP file. So we can now just do CMake and generate my build system, and then build the target codegen. All the generated code is created. We don't need to build the entire source tree. And then we can let the static analyzers do their job. That's it. Thank you.